Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. No, it's okay. It's appreciated, but
So it was my
I'll take it off, but I will leave it right here so that I can appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you. Hare Krishna. That's very kind of you. Welcome everybody. What a wonderful group of people here. I almost feel like some of you may be here for the first time, but it's our last class. And so a lot of what we'll be talking about is we've been building up for days. I want to jump right into it because our time is short. I've spent the last few days speaking a lot about this progression or this evolution from karma to jnana to bhakti. And today I want to talk about another kind of progression like that, which is from Brahman to Paramatma to Bhagavan. 3 different ways of looking at the same supreme absolute truth, but unfolding or expanding or becoming more and more excellent or more complete. They say excellent. Sometimes the acharyas use this word, excellent, meaning like we generally think like something excellent is done very well, but excellent can also mean like excelling, like, expanding in its scope, like that. And I have this picture here because this is such a beautiful, special passage in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The 4 Kumaras, the ultimate Brahmavadis, those that had deeply realized Brahman, the non-personal feature of the Absolute, and then when they come into contact with the personal form, they have an awakening, and that becomes these are highlighted especially by Vyas in this text because he really wanted to share this message of this how this evolution moves in this direction to this personal connection, personal love, and establishing love as the highest principle. All right. But what I want to do is we left off yesterday with the sages gathered in the forest. They were at, anyone remember the name of that place where they were? Naimisharanya, right? The forest of Naimi, right? Naimisharanya. They had placed their questions before the sage Sutta, showing him great respect and saying, you help us understand the essence of all of Vyasadev's literature. Help us understand what leads to the highest good, and help us understand what leads to the complete satisfaction of the self, the Atma supersidity. Is it karma? Is it jnana? Is it bhakti? Help us understand. And so we read his answer. It was very direct and unambiguous. Could someone please just step outside and ask them if they could please be a little quiet outside? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. So here's that answer that he gave. It was the last thing that we read yesterday. He said the supreme occupation, the supreme dharma, the parodharma. He says savai pungsa, for all humanity, parodharmo, the supreme dharma, the highest dharma. Parodharma yuto bhakti rdhoksaje. It's bhakti. It's the offering of bhakti, the offering of love to adhoksaja, to that supreme absolute truth which is beyond the realm of the material senses, right? Open to the spiritual senses, but beyond the realm of the material senses. And that love, that offering of love, it must, in order for Atma supersidity, in order for there to be complete satisfaction of the self, it must be ahoitaki apratiyata, unmotivated, uninterrupted, right? There's no materialistic motivation. There's no selfish motivation. It's love, right? Love meaning completely free of that. So that was a revelation. He said it, and he said it very directly. Vyasadeva is putting this right at the front, right? First chapter was the questions coming out the gate. The second chapter is the answer. This all evolves to bhakti. Now, naturally, the sages might say, well, thank you for sharing that, but it's a bit confusing for us because we've spent so much time studying the Upanishads, and there's so much emphasis given on jnana and vairagya, knowledge and detachment. We were under the impression that knowledge and detachment lead to the Atma supersidity. They lead to the complete satisfaction of the self. Now you're telling us it's bhakti. Help us understand. He responds to that with the next verse. By rendering devotional service through bhakti, I'll go to the Sanskrit, if I'm connected to the internet. I don't know why it's not opening up. It's okay. What is it? Padahari Prabhu, help me out. First line, first word is all I need. It's, thank you. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata. Janayat Yasuvairagyam Gyanam Chayarahoitakam. Right? That by rendering devotional service through bhakti, by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto that Bhagavan, unto that Adhoksaja, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from this world. What he's saying is that the goal of Jnana Yoga, the goal of the Jnani, is to achieve knowledge and through knowledge become detached, right? He's saying that is a byproduct. That comes even indirectly. It follows in the wake of bhakti. If one has bhakti, if one has real love, genuine love, selfless love, complete love for the Supreme, without a separate endeavor, without even necessarily the performance of austerities or the study of the Vedic literature and the study of Vedanta, through that love, one automatically lets go of the things of this world. Through the taste of that transcendent reality, one lets go of the illusory realm without even making that their goal, right? The goal was the prema. I want the prema within me to awaken, the prema that is my inner nature. If that awakens, I automatically let go of the things of this world. So he's saying that's covered in bhakti. Don't worry. Don't think that you're missing out on something through bhakti. The knowledge and detachment that's so central in the message of Vedanta, it comes with bhakti. So then some of the other sages may say, we have a question. Okay, that makes sense, but what about in the Vedas? What about in the earlier Vedas? All that is told about being dutiful in life, the karma kanda, right? Do your duties. And by being dutiful, including performing the proper yagnas, to show our gratitude for everything that we receive in this world to the devas, that through that one prospers and one lives a good and happy life. Doesn't this lead to complete satisfaction to the self? This is the impression that we were under. He's going to address that in the next 3 verses. The occupational activities, the dharmas that one does, that a person performs according to their own position, right? This is speaking specifically to Varnashram Dharma. One may be a Vaishya, a Shudra, a Brahmana, Kshatriya. One may be a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. This is the Vedic paradigm of the different roles that you can play, the different duties that you can perform. All of these occupational duties that one performs, according to their position, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. This is very blunt, right? He's saying, you can do all of those Vedic duties. They're good. But if it's not leading to developing this love, then he uses this very strong language. What is it? Shrava eva hi kevalam. It's kevalam means completely, right? It's a complete waste of time. This is where Vyas, he's highlighting a message because he wants to be very explicit. Don't waste your time doing Vedic rituals to get the things of this world. It will not satisfy, right? And he's going to be he's not going to just say, he's not highlighting a scene wherein it's just said it's not the highest. It's said it's a complete waste of time. it's an extreme message. He wants to get this across. He continues, all all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. That's not the point of life. You have a much higher potential. And finally, life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire, it's not saying that we can't enjoy life, but it's saying the point of the human form is you can find that there's a much higher bliss, there's a much higher pleasure that is your nature. Don't become distracted from that. So then he says, life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, right? Take care of the basics. Since a human being is meant for what? Inquiry into the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. Okay, inquiry into the absolute truth. This is the goal of life here. This is what we heard in the beginning of Vedanta Sutra, right? Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now is the time to inquire into the absolute truth. Okay, now the sages may have another question, right? Okay, you're telling us that karma that's directed towards sense gratification is a waste of time. You're telling us that jnana and vairagya, that knowledge and detachment, what's commonly seen as the goal of Vedanta, that comes automatically through bhakti, that bhakti, when it's performed and offered with complete selflessness, it gives complete satisfaction to the self, and that life is meant to inquire into that absolute truth. What is that absolute truth? Could you clear this up for us? Is the absolute truth a person? Is the absolute truth a non-personal energy? What is the absolute? What is it that from which everything else comes? Do the personal forms come from the non-personal energy? Does the non-personal energy come from the person? Are they separate? Are they different? How do we understand this? And then this next verse is, you could say it's really one of the most important verses in all of Vedanta, right? Again, this Bhagavatam, it was made clear in the early verses of it, those first 3 verses. This is Vyasadev's commentary on Vedanta himself. This is his commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And so you could say that this verse is one of the most important verses in all of Vedanta. Vedanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajganam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shapyate. He says that learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. This is one absolute truth manifesting in different features. Okay, and so I wanted to pull this up and show how the Bhagavatam, how Vyasadeva in the Bhagavatam, through the words of Sutta Goswami, is helping us understand the absolute truth. And here we have Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. 3 different features of the one absolute truth, but in a gradation of excellence, right? Excellence, one exceeding the other. You could say, or ultimately, you have one, then the next one which contains the one, and then the next one which contains the 2. Right? So it begins with Brahman, understanding the non-personal energy of God. Then Paramatma, the all-pervasive spiritual consciousness pervading the universe. And then Bhagavan, the personal form from which they all come from. I wanted to go here. And let's talk about this. It's said that the yogi can realize these features of the Supreme or of the Absolute Truth in excelling progression. So what does it mean to be Brahman realized? What does it mean if one has understood, let's say if one has realized the non-personal energy, if one has connected with it, not just in a theoretical way, but they've actually felt it within themselves. What is Brahman realization, right? We get descriptions of this in Bhagavad Gita at the end of the 14th chapter. There's a description of one who's transcended the modes of material nature, and Krishna describes Brahman realization, right? It has a lot to do with even-mindedness. But let's read some ideas here. If I've realized Brahman, which is a great accomplishment in life, right? I realize I'm beyond all these temporary identities. I'm not man, woman, black, white, American, Indian, this, that, even human, right? That's just a body that I'm in right now. I've embraced all kinds of identities: mother, father, husband, wife, this, that. These are just things that I pass through temporarily, very quickly. They come and they go, and they're not me. And I've realized that, I've understood that. It's a deep spiritual understanding, right? Because it's not easy to achieve that. It's easy to say it theoretically. It's not easy to fully realize it. What else? I am eternal, blissful consciousness, right? I am not of this world. I am beyond this world. This world of constant change is not my nature. My nature is beyond it. I'm free from lamentation and desire, right? I'm not, oh no, this happened. Oh, I'm afraid that that is going to happen. Oh, if only I had this. If only I could get that. Oh no, I lost this. Now I lost that. Well, the things of this world, I haven't hitched myself to them. I don't look for them for shelter, for happiness, right? So therefore, I'm beyond because I've connected to what's steady, I'm beyond lamentation. I'm beyond desire. I've achieved all that I need. I'm feeling complete, right? And then finally, I'm one with the underlying spiritual reality, right? I am not merely an isolated, tiny piece of consciousness. I do have my own individuality, right? But I am part of that supreme energy, right? That I am not. If I realize it, right? I realize a oneness with everything, right? That I am part of the same energy that is everything. This is Brahman realization, right? One achieves deep peace in this. Questions about that? Thoughts about that? Does it make sense? Okay, so that is one. Now, many yogis think that's it. Once you've achieved that, that's it. You've achieved everything, right? But what we're seeing here is no, you've achieved partial understanding of the absolute truth, which is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, all three. So then what does Paramatma realization look like? It means, let's give an understanding of Paramatma, how it's described in the broader Vedic literature. Param Atma means Param, the supreme, Atma, soul, right? This is a feature of the absolute truth which relates to the universe that we're in, right? Operates within the universe that we're in. And it's understood in three. Sometimes they're called the Purusha avatars. And they're kind of illustrated here. Here you have Sri Krishna. He's Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He's beyond the material realm. This is illustrating, if you can see my cursor here, this is illustrating Krishna's existence beyond the bubble of the material realm, right? And he manifests in Vishnu forms, the Paramatma, in three consecutive manifestations. One is Mahavishnu, right? This is the form of Vishnu that lies down in the water, and from the pores of his body, unlimited universes expand, right? The lifetime of one universe is one breath of this Mahavishnu, it is said. Right? He exhales, the universe has come out, he inhales, comes back in. The entire life of Brahma. Each one of these universes has a Brahma inside. Each one of these universes has a Vishnu inside. Right? That's the second Vishnu, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, from whom the lotus grows from his navel. Upon the lotus is born, Brahma, right, the creator. Vishnu within his heart invests the Vedic teachings, right? He's given the power, through his mind to create. He creates the universes, or he creates the galaxies and the planets and the species and so on from his meditation. So that's the second Vishnu inside each universe, right? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. But then he expands a third time and he enters into the heart of every living being. This is, when we say Paramatma, usually people are speaking about this feature, but they're all Paramatma, right? He's entering the heart of every living being, not only the heart of every living being, but into every atom within existence. Just like Just like any living body has a soul within it, and that soul spreads its consciousness throughout the entire body. So each one of these universes has the soul of Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, as its soul, and his awareness expands throughout the entire body of the universe. And it does that by entering into the heart of every living being and into every atom in that universe. So in the Brahma Samhita, which is, Vedic text, it said, Ekaupyaso rachaitam jangananda kotim yochchakterasti jagananda chaya yaranta andantarastam paramanu charantarastam govinda maripurusham tamaham bhajami. Right? That it mentions there that all the universes exist in him. What is that? That's Mahavishnu, right? All the universes exist in him, and yet he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time, such as the primeval Lord whom I adore. These are the prayers of Brahma, right? He can see all this. He can understand all this, right? Everything is in him, and he is in everything, right? He's all pervasive. This is Paramatma. A yogi can be Brahman realized and not realize Paramatma, right? But if you understand Paramatma, you're already Brahman realized, right? That's getting back to this, right? If you realize Paramatma, you're beyond lamentation, you're beyond desire, material desire. You've understood a sense of oneness with the universe. You become free of your false identities when you know that Paramatma. And what does that look like? I live in constant contact and under the shelter of the supreme consciousness, cosmic intelligence, and soul of the universe. Right? The soul of the entire universe is situated right within me, and I'm aware of it. I'm never feeling separated from it. Who exists both within and beyond all things, who oversees and governs the material energy, who guides each being from within with intelligence and inspiration. Right? This is Bhagavad Gita 15:15. What is it? Sarvasya chaham hridishana vishto matas mriturgyanam apohanam cha. That I'm in the heart of every living being. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Right? Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedyo. That by all of the Vedas, who's to be known? Krishna say, I am to be known. Vedanta krit veda vit eva chaham. Right? So it goes on. He's guiding every being from within. Bhagavad Gita, this is where Krishna starts to wrap things up in one sense too, right? He's saying, the Supreme Lord is situated in the heart of every living being, Arjuna. Surrender unto him utterly, right? And finally, and who is the dear friend of every living being, right? That you have that soul of the universe situated in your heart as a friend. He's in the heart of every living being. He's in every atom. There's nowhere where his consciousness is not penetrating. Be aware of it, and now you're beyond everything. Now you're free, right? So that's Paramatma realization. Paramatma realization includes everything before it, realizing the temporary identities are not me, realizing I am eternal blissful consciousness, being freed from lamentation and desire, sensing a sense of oneness. But here's also a sense of difference, right? That there's one being that all the other beings are dependent on. I can't claim that unlimited universes emanate from my body, right? I can't claim, even in my perfection, even in my full enlightenment, right? I can't do that. I can't enter into the heart of every living being. I can't enter into every atom. What to speak of being beyond it all and manifesting all this effortlessly. Why is Krishna here and not here? Right? Because here, he's engaged in his interest, which is love, right? It's just play. It's leela, right? It's nothing but adventures of love. That's his business. Oh, people want an illusory realm? Okay, I can provide that. And effortlessly, he becomes Mahavishnu. And that's Krishna in the office, you could say, taking care of business, right? Taking care of things. He's not showing his full self. He's showing part of his opulence by maintaining the universes in these three features. But what if we were to know him? What if we were to understand him? What is he all about? That's Bhagavan realization, right? The personal form of God that can be loved intimately. So here's, what do I realize when I realize Bhagavan? I realize everything in Brahman. I realize everything in Paramatma. But I realize still more. I realize and love the Supreme Person, the Pada Brahman, the Pada Brahman, the Supreme Brahman, that all the other manifestations of Brahman come from. Krishna will say in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I'm the basis of the non-personal Brahman, right? That is my energy as well. Krishna has multifarious energies. This is all spoken about in the Vedas. Parasya Shaktir Vivadai Vashruyate. One unlimited being manifesting in multifarious energies, including the non-personal Brahman. But the Pada Brahman, Arjuna turns to Krishna and says, Pada Brahman, Pada Dhamma, you are the Supreme Brahman, you are the ultimate Brahman from which all this comes. Right? So all of this is included within the form of Bhagavan. And so when one realizes that form, I realize and love the Supreme Person, the Pada Brahman, possessed of all attractive names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Now I'm seeing transcendence with variety, not attributeless Brahman, but Brahman with full of attributes, who expands unlimitedly through his various energies and who reciprocates with my love according to my unique mood. He can be loved. He's Akila Rasamrita Murti. It's the one form that can reciprocate with the love that is the nature of the self deep within, right? However you come to him, he can reciprocate with it in the most beautiful ways. And so Vyasadeva is laying this out early in the text. In the next chapter, he's going to talk about all the different avatars, including Vishnu, and he's going to say, Ete Changsa Kala Pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam, that the Bhagavan Svayam, the original, the origin from which all the avatars come, is the form of Sri Krishna. And then he's going to build and he's going to sustain this message of bhakti being, divine love being the highest principle, chapter after chapter, hundreds of chapters, until he gets to the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. And then he has 90 chapters on Sri Krishna, right, in his whole life. So that you can see, again, so that you can see that picture of divine love and transcendence, what it looks like, what it does to the heart. And it's said that simply by hearing those descriptions, that this divine love in the heart can awaken like that. That's bhakti, all right? So Shravanam. Now I wanted to read to you this, right? This is the four Kumars. They had full understanding of the Brahman, right? They were deeply immersed in it. These are the sages that they even exist in the highest realms of the universe, the highest layers of it, as the instructors to the sages that do nothing but meditate on Brahman from that platform, right? They're the most highly respected Brahmavadis. And yet when they're exposed to the form of Vishnu, something awakens in them. This isn't the Vishnu of the Garbhodaksha or Mahavishnu or Vishnu within the heart. This is Vishnu of the Vaikunthas, right? That he's not just maintaining the material realm in this form, but it is a Bhagavan form, right? And so we can read about their connection with that and the awakening that happens in them when they have this experience. Now, I'll begin here. The exquisite beauty of Narayan. This is when the four Kumars first encounter Narayan, which is another name for Vishnu. The exquisite beauty of Narayana, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of the goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who thus manifested himself is worshipable by me. This is Shukadev speaking. By Lord Shiva and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet. I'll keep this picture here so we can see. When the breeze, carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of God, had entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Okay, so when they came in contact with, through their eyes, through their nose, through all their senses, they're experiencing transcendence in personal form. Their body was having symptoms, like sometimes they say the voice becomes choked up, tears come from the eyes, one gets goosebumps, the hair stand on end, right? So they're experiencing this. They didn't understand that this can come from form, right? They thought that, oh, you experience deep spiritual experience beyond form. They got to that stage beyond material form. They got to the Brahman, and then they got to the stage of spiritual form, and they're feeling these transformations. This is the form of the Lord which is meditated on by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary, right? It's not an illusory form of the material realm. It is not imaginary, but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement. These are the mystic perfections of yoga. But for others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection. The Kumaras said, so now these sages, these ancient sages in little boy bodies begin to pray. Our dear Lord, you are not manifested to rascals, even though you are seated within the heart of everyone. But as far as we are concerned, we see you face to face, right? We're seeing your face, your form. Although you are unlimited, the statements we have heard about you from our father, Brahma, through the ears, have now been actually realized by your kind appearance. We know that you are the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, who manifests his transcendental form in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. This is called the Shuddha Sattva. It's not the Sattva of this world, but to speak of the Rajas or the Tamas, but this is the spiritual energy, the energy that is beyond matter. This transcendental, eternal form of your personality can be understood only by your mercy, right? It's not by austerity. It's not by learning. Jnana itself cannot reveal this, right? It's ultimately revealed by grace. Through unflinching devotional service, through bhakti, by great sages whose hearts have been purified in the devotional way. Entirely purified, right? Even purified of the hesitancy or the resistance to a being that is ontologically I'm dependent on. Okay. Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are, engaged in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Okay, this becomes the practice of bhakti yoga, right? Hearing these narrations. This is what Vyas had failed to fully present, but will be presented now in this text. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, right? They're not interested in moksha, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like material happiness in the heavenly kingdom. They're not interested in the results of karma. They're not interested in the results of jnana, because this divine love has everything in it. Oh Lord, we pray that you let us be born. Now here you get a message that's going to be repeated throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. That when someone is standing before Bhagavan and offered any boon or any benediction, that they begin to express their detachment from anything, their aloofness from anything of this world. If you read the Vedas, people are looking for the boons of elevation to the higher planets or for moksha, right? Here, they're saying, it doesn't matter if I'm in heaven, it doesn't matter if I'm in hell. When I'm remembering you, when I'm conscious of you, none of the externals matter. So they pray, oh Lord, we pray that you let us be born in any hellish condition of life, just as long as our hearts and minds are always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Our words are made beautiful by speaking of your activities, just as tulsi leaves are beautified when offered unto your lotus feet. And as long as our ears are always filled with the chanting of your transcendental qualities. What goes on here in this room every evening with these kirtans? See, this is the point. This chanting isn't just a kumbaya, let's have fun together, but it is the fulfillment and the culmination of all the Vedic teachings, right? That ultimately we can reach into our heart and express love for that center of all existence, that center that's maintaining the universe, that all-pervading divine consciousness that has a personal feature, that can be that one can feel and love and then glorify naturally, right? Naturally, when you fall in love, you glorify that object of your love, right? And this is done as a practice, and ultimately it's done in its perfection, or in the culmination of the practice. O Lord, we therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your eternal form as the personality of Godhead, which you have so kindly manifested before us. Your supreme eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent persons, but we are so much satisfied. This is the Atma Suprasidhiti. We are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see it. Okay? So this was one place where Vyas really wants to kind of show this evolution to bhakti and evolution to Bhagavan. And we have a little time left. There's one last thing I wanted to read you. And that is going back to chapter 2, if it would please show up. But here, maybe I need your phone. Yeah. Here, oh, I have it on my own phone. Well, if you got it handy, then that'll be good. This second chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we just heard suttas answering the questions of the sages, where he defined bhakti as the parodharma, as the highest practice. And then he answers questions about jnana, and he answers questions about karma, placing them in their relative positions. And then he speaks about the supreme absolute truth as manifesting as in three features of increasing excellence: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Okay, then what do you do with that? What does this practice of bhakti look like? How does it play out? Is it just a sentimental thing, or what does it look like? Put it in a context of yoga for me. Put it in a context of Vedanta for me. How does this bhakti play out? And you get a really nice explanation here in that second chapter. So I'll read text 11 again. Oh, hold it. Where are we? This is the wrong. I'm looking for chapter 2, canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, they've got jnana and vairagya. They realize the absolute truth by rendering bhakti in terms of what they have heard from the Vedanta Shruti, right? In other words, okay, now they're worshiping this form of the Supreme based on everything that was there in Vedanta. O best among twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed by one's own occupation, right? That's the highest thing you can achieve through the Vedic teachings, according to caste divisions in order of life, is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not to get anything of this world. It's to please the ultimate object of love. Therefore, with one pointed attention, this is yoga, right? One should constantly hear about, glorify, and remember. This is what we were talking about earlier, right? Hear about is shravanam. Glorifying is kirtanam, right? Remembering, really the word used here is dhyana, but what does that mean? Meditating on, right? So one should hear about, glorify, meditate on, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, or karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? In other words, yes, gyan counters avidya, right? Knowledge counters ignorance. But remembering Krishna is the highest knowledge. It's the knowledge of the complete everything. We read from the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna said, when one understands me as the Purushottama, as a supreme person, then they're the knower sarvavit. They know everything. They know Brahman, they know Paramatma, they know Bhagavan. They have all the detachment that comes with Brahman realization. It's all there. So again, here it's saying just by remembering Krishna, you cut through the binding reactions of karma. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Krishna, Vasudeva. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Right? This is Bhakti's answer to the Advaitin argument that the only thing that fully counters avidya or ignorance is knowledge. Right? Either the answer is no, remembrance of Krishna counters it, or remembrance of Krishna is the ultimate knowledge. If knowledge is the only thing that counters it, then you have to accept that this as the highest jnana of remembering Krishna. It counters one's ignorance directly. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed in loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service, or bhakti, to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. Okay, so there in that second chapter, you get a nice picture of what Vyasadeva wanted to share as the culmination of all Vedanta, right? That it's realized in connection with Bhagavan. Through that, there's a powerful inner transformation that takes place, and one becomes free. That. Any questions about what we've read? Yes, Sanatanji.
Just a query that has there ever lived a jnani who was not a bhakta?
Yes, you see, so if we go back here, one moment. So what Vyas was carefully highlighting by sharing this particular conversation right at the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is his commentary on Vedanta, was that this supreme is understood, again, in gradations. So the four Kumars, they had realized Brahman. They were Gyanis, but they hadn't realized divine love. So in that sense, they were not yet Bhaktas. And so when they had this contact with Bhagavan, then the devotion that's in them, but unmanifested, awakened. And they shared their hearts in that way.
But then that jnana would not be jnana, because jnana would be only bhakti.
You could argue that it's not complete Gyan because it's not Gyan of Bhagavan, but it's Gyana within the material realm. They developed the clarity to discern between matter and spirit and detach themselves from matter. So that is, it's nothing to to sneeze at, as they say, right? It's a very deep level of spiritual realization, and I spoke about this a little bit a few days ago, and I think it's worth revisiting. What I presented to you right now is theory, right? And for us, it's theory. One could say, "Oh, I like this idea. This all makes perfect sense to me. That ultimate Bhagavan, the supreme form, all other energies emanate from that. Brahman realization is included in that. Simply by devotional service to that supreme being, one can become completely free, etc." That's theory. Now, I may have that theory and still not be Brahman realized, right? So my theoretical understanding may be advanced, but my realization may still be very low. And again, it's my conviction, whether we're talking about within the realm of Vedanta or the realm of any of the other spiritual traditions out there, we're provided with theory. But unless we're very diligent, and within all these traditions, you find people that approach it on the superficial or theoretical level. They even become proud of their theory. And then much fewer within that group are going to take it so seriously that they're willing to, they see the need and they have the strong calling or determination to realize that knowledge, to assimilate that knowledge, to see the world constantly through that knowledge, to realize it. That is, in a sense, the hard work of the spiritual path. And so therefore, when people speak in religious or spiritual ways about these high truths, but they don't embody the fundamentals of it, it becomes, people begin to see through it and become averse to it. So one speaks about God loves everyone, whether it's in the Bhakti tradition or let's say Christian tradition, you hear that kind of thing. But then you see the people not manifesting that love themselves, not having detachment, not seeing God within every living being, not responding as if every living being is a spark of God's energy. Brahman realization is something quite, it may not be complete, but it's a very advanced level of spiritual awareness.
In theory, I meant to ask, like, in theory only, like,
Yes.
let's say someone has realized the Brahman, but then eventually they would have to be a devotee, like, because or else it wouldn't work. Like, the sum total of all the jnana would be bhakti.
What it requires, and the great bhakti yogis have gone through these texts and really analyzed it, that they'll say that bhakti is rare, the full realization of it, because for two reasons. And actually this will bring me to something that I wanted to highlight. It's rare because one, it's in every living being in a dormant state, but it's awakened through the association of someone that has it. So you have to find someone that has it. And the second reason, and this, I want to share something with you here. I wanted to conclude with this last verse. This is from the Govinda Lilamrita, a verse by one of the great bhakti yogis. He writes, "The sun is naturally warm. The moon is naturally cool. The earth is naturally tolerant. The wind naturally restless. The saints are naturally grave. The ocean naturally deep. And Krishna is naturally controlled by love."
Okay.
Right? This is Bhagavan.
Yes.
That bhakti is not easy to get because it controls Krishna. And the material boons, they can be given easily, even moksha relatively easily. But when one has bhakti, like these girls have, they can control Krishna. Krishna's mother, she can make Krishna dance just like if you have a little piece of food and you want a dog to get up on its hind legs and go over here and go. Krishna will dance like that for someone that has love for him. Someone can tie Krishna up, right? Mother Yashoda ties him up.
Yeah, there's a story like that.
Some, yes, and like that. So one can have this Brahman realization, but bhakti is still something rare, a rare achievement. This pure bhakti, but but I wanted to share this last one so that we can. It's worth. There's also a verse I believe by Krishnadas Kaviraj, Badahari Prabhu. Maybe you can help me remember, where he says. Uh, he's speaking to the audience and he's saying in Chaitanya Charitamrita, "Oh, intelligent people of this world, if you take your intelligence and please apply it to the teachings of Sri Chaitanya, and you'll find it to be most wonderful," or something like that. Yes, it's in there somewhere. So, but my point is like this. You'll find it strikingly wonderful, right? That take all of our intelligence that we take towards knowledge, that we take towards Vedanta, please apply to Sri Chaitanya. And Sri Chaitanya is teaching this intimate love of Bhagavan. Please apply to his teachings, and you'll find it to be most wonderful. Because when you get to Bhagavan, he's just like you might know a judge in the courtroom, he doesn't show his whole personality there. But if you knew him in his home, you'd see who he really is. You'd see that the heart of him. And so similarly, if you apply your intelligence to understanding Sri Krishna, his full beauty will be revealed, and you'll find it to be the most wonderful thing. Here, that being that universes are coming out of his pores of his skin, and that's just a mere fragment of his potency, the Mahavishnu. It's saying that he's naturally. What is his nature? If the nature of the ocean is to be deep, if the nature of the sun is to be warm, what is Krishna's nature? What is he really all about? Love. His nature is that not only love, he's controlled by love. He's not interested in being the Ishvara. He's interested in being controlled by love. So I will leave it there, and I will thank you all. I've had a wonderful month or 5 weeks spending time with all of you. Please stay in touch. You can always stay connected to me through Gabriella here. It really inspires me to spend this time with you, to see people that are so eager to come to. Many of you come from a faraway place. Many of you are from nearby places, but still it's so easy to get distracted in our modern world, that you come to a holy place like this and spend your hours hearing and discussing these texts and chanting and Kirtan. Thank you so much. It's been a great gift to me to spend this time with you. Hari Om Tat Sat.